The first poem I'll read is from Senahoy. You can subscribe and support this magazine for 20 euros a year. After Anna Mendelssohn. Luminous, it erupts in folds. Ask for dexterity, worn out, crushed out, squeezed in, between paper, sheet, and steel, and keystroke. The creator has a working plan. Take the pens, paints, rock, give them stores, assimilation, and management. A world created in plastic-encrusted bonbons, little Debbie's redeem yourself by sale. What is it to travel the world over, to fight for your freedom, only to return surviving sniper rifles and be decimated by debt? Sounds of bullets reproduced by the cha-ching of cash registers. Buy into the dream as it eats you alive, pushed into riches of surplus. What power you hold, sitting behind the register, the keyboard, the club. It requires skin and bone. Look at the disappearing act, a total eclipse. What is the name of a phenomenon that places you at the bottom of a well, not just any well, an M&S well, and deludes you into thinking it's freedom, that to climb up, or to think there is such a thing as up, to be out, to be wrenched from the murky water, betrays. Children play in grocery store aisles, stock meats, apple pies, just work until we have enough money to. They won't stop calling. We've thrown all the phones into the bathtub and filled it to the brim with lettuce. Do you have an account with? No, why? They called asking for you. Bless the debted, we are followed. I call each of my employers, relay the amount of work, and demand the full amount they owe me in surplus value. Empathy does not translate into movement. Appease, please pacify, please pay. My mother's third imprisonment. Conceive this moment. Come to understand its history. Soldiers shove a tray of olives under the door. She carves holes into the pits. Using a nail, finds a string, makes a bracelet. Resistance sometimes looks like constraint. Her cell lined with used tea bags, strung up, drying, waiting for reuse throughout the weeks. The soldiers do not come around. My dear, don't be afraid. It's nothing. It will pass. Incessant tongues pluck the mouth. Cast iron skillets burn. Dousing yourself in milk won't do. Gulping gallons won't take out the flame. Soothe blisters, bubbles, and trachea. Your people are acting like assholes, though, you have to admit. I turn away from the face. It's a party turned diplomatic conference. Everyone is appointed UN General Secretaries, a private imitation of a public, put on trial eating veggie hot dogs, inhale and choke on Jenny McCartney. Dispersion is a separation, a distribution. It informs a movement of scattering from one center to a wide area. The center will not only hold, it grows. Not imitation, that is for the settlers. Parroting, perfecting the art of squawking, flying nest, the cuckoo who carries machine guns in the streets, smashes its cars into pedestrians, drags Palestinians from their homes, bombs white phosphorus onto children's schools, burns olive tree, valleys, chains, trees to buildings. They may stomp their feet on the earth. It spits them back out, regurgitating poison. A colonial masquerading. Heroes of the text and failures of thought. The text is meant to imitate something they don't believe was ever in existence. A ghost, a specter, is their blueprint A to B. We give flesh to the void in their imaginations. We become the unimaginable, walking, running, stomping, fucking, eating, celebrating, writing, breathing. We want to do all on our land. Let's meet in. Stun. The flash momentarily triggers all cells in the eye that respond to light, blinding it for about 5 seconds, forcing it to see an afterimage that threatens vision. The amount of volume induced by the detonation also creates temporary deafness and unsettles fluid in the ear, bringing about a loss of balance. Parading around, pompous seals slapping their fins on the rocks dive headfirst into the Dead Sea, very material, playing house with a guillotine. They were the kids who dismember their Barbies in the name of medical examination. Arrest 500, there's 7 million more, not within your reach. Flatten the strip, there's hands ready to rebuild. If you don't take it, someone else will. If you don't take it, someone else doesn't have to. Mutants for law of motion. An object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Objects keep on doing what they're doing. Objects tend to resist changes in their state of motion, inertia. Structures do not come to a rest, do not come to a stop, unless a force greater than itself makes it stop, makes it crumble, makes it come to a grinding halt. Colonial inertia. Properties of matter, matters of property. If I don't steal it, someone else will. What happens when there is no agreement? For the contract does not want you out of the house. It wants you out of the country. And even when you're outside of the country, everything you embody is backwards, not right, a threat. Tenancy is not just for a house. It is an existence. Why are you still here? It carries me with it wherever I go. It follows. The specter, tenancy, requires contract, requires ink, requires paper, requires dates, signatures, constituted clauses, subclauses. Living in a place requires proof that you belong to that place, and the subclauses prove your worthiness to inhabit the space. This is not tenancy, this is inheritance, and you, landlord, settler, state, need to remember whose fucking land you're on, whose house you encroach onto. You will be reminded. Keep your signs claiming "stay out" hung on the door of a home built by the hands of those you deny real. Your subclauses mean nothing in our courts. We operate on a different set of laws, threaded by a language beyond your reach. Walled off, shut out is where I'd like to see you. Walled off, shut out is there I'd like to put you. In your place, in the dark, with a copy of your contract. I dream incessantly of the old gate. Its faded stone, smooth, jagged with jagged bits, carved into the walls, soldiers lined up by the hundreds. I walk through the old market, filled with its vendors, remembering the time my mother accidentally knocked into a stall, hundreds of plastic cups clinging onto the ground, splaying out like an overenthusiastic tea time. From the entrance, you turn left into a short, narrow corridor. 50 soldiers are positioned on the right shoulder of the corridor in a ground watchtower. Small shops crammed next to each other, wines bright, open to the sky, path expands, ceiling removed, 2 stone lanes rolling out from the mouth of the opening, supporting on the perimeter khaltos selling vegetables and fruits. The path continues down cobbled slick towards a fork, left side, right side. 50 soldiers stand along the wall, merging the 2 sides, surveying as people walk down. I choose left. Entering a new section of the market. I dream of them, the moment of eyes meeting, recognition awakening people, atini huitik. Chest tightens, stomach turns inward, eating itself. Not everyone has documents. Some of us have memories. Debt. Set up a trap for debt collectors. Welcome them to your front door. Drop a safe on their heads so they can feel the weight of what you are overdue. Thank you.